Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Omolara, popularly known as The Rocks, and yes, it's been quite a while and I am super sorry. I don't have any excuse, but now I am back and I am back for good. Okay, so let's get right into the business of today. Now, as you all know, that this channel is basically all about literature and shortcuts to passing literature excellently. Okay, now how do you move from this to this in literature? In today's class, I'm going to be dealing basically on poetry. Now I know that some of you really do not like this aspect of poetry, but we need to touch it. That is why I am here for you. I am here to simplify it, to make it really amazing. Now I'm sure that a lot of you have this same questions like, why do I have to learn all the 12 poems when they will only bring out 4? How do I streamline the poems that I should read? Is it compulsory for me to memorize the poems? The poems are boring, they are not interesting. I don't know how to answer questions based on poetry. You need to learn the poem. Now, I'm not saying that you should learn the 12 poems by heart, but at least learning 8 to 10, all right, especially for those or for the first set and the last set. Now, I'm going to explain to you why the first set and the last set need to learn basically all the poems. It is because the first set, let's say the new syllabus now is 2024 syllabus, right? The first set would not know, all right, the kind of questions or the kind of poems that will be set. Now, the first set that will be writing this 2024 literature syllabus would not have an idea of the particular poem to read. So, to be on the safe side, it is important for you to learn, if you can, all right, to learn the poems by heart. Now there are some poems that are lengthy that you cannot. There's no two way about it. You just cannot. Even me, there are some poems that I can't learn by heart, right? But in when you get to such poems, you need to know the diction, and then the prevalent figures of speech used in the poem. All right. So you look at the poem and then you bring out some of the figures of speech that are much, right? Say you have a particular poem now, all right, and then you have alliteration. You have lots of alliteration. You have lots of personifications. You have lots of assonance. There is a high. The question is going to be based on either diction or the use of those figures of speech. Now, if you have a question like this, if you're conversant with the last 3 years questions, literature questions, you will realize that this particular question, has been reoccurring. Now, the thing that you need to know when you meet this kind of question is definition. Your first paragraph, of course, we have established the fact that you cannot do away with some compulsory paragraphs, and the same applies to poetry. All right. So for your first paragraph, you know that for whatever poetry, whether it is African or whether it is non-African, you know that you have to start your first paragraph talking about the theme, the prevalent theme in that poem. All right. After which, if you see this kind of question, the second paragraph is when you pick each, because most times when you see this question, they bring out 3 figures of speech, basically 3 figures of speech. All right. And now, if I were you, that would be like my go-to question, because I am not stressing myself. Why? I have learned the poem. I might not know the poem like verbatim, but I have learned some of the poem, and I know where all of this occur. Now, they're not asking you to write all the places that each of these figures of speech actually appear in the poem, but they are asking you to identify. So the thing now is you have to identify as many as you can remember, which is very, very important. So after you are done with this kind of question, after you are done with the first compository paragraph, your second paragraph will be you picking one of the figures of speech, all right, that has been stipulated for you to answer question on. Let's say repetition, and then you must define what repetition is. After which you have to tell your examiner where repetition occur in the poem. So you list out the lines where repetition occur in the poem, and then you do the same for the next figure of speech. You do the same for the third figure of speech, and that's like four paragraphs already. Now the fifth paragraph, when answering this question, after your first compulsory paragraph, which is the first paragraph, right, which deals with your theme, right, your second paragraph should be you picking any of these three, all right, any of these three, all right, and start. You must start your second paragraph by picking, let's say, personification. You define what personification is, or let's say repetition. You define what repetition is, and then you start to write out the lines where repetition occur in the poem. When you are done with repetition, you must immediately follow with the effect of repetition. It is very, very important. For each of the figures of speech that you put down, you must, after you're done writing out the lines where each of these figures of speech occur in the poem, you must write the effect. So let's say after my first paragraph, my second paragraph, I decide to start with repetition. Now, after defining repetition and after bringing out the lines where repetition occur in the poem, I must finish that paragraph with the effect of repetition in the poem before moving to the next poem. Let's say personification, where you have to repeat the same process, defining personification and then bringing out the lines where personification occur in the poem and the effect. And the same goes to the third one. And your final paragraph, when you see questions like this, your final paragraph must be the cumulative effect of all of these figures of speech. And when I say effect, I mean significance, right? Now, why? Now, the question that you need to ask yourself is why did the poet use personification? Why did the poet use repetition? Why has the poet used, all right? Now, your why would lead you to your effect or significance. I hope I've been able to impart. If you do not see this question, you might see questions on, say, imagery, questions on diction, question on, say, a prevalent figure of speech. Because there are some poems that there might just be one prevalent figure of speech, say personification, for instance. There might be that poem. Now, when your teacher is analyzing the poem for you, and then you see that this particular poem has one figure of speech that is prevalent in all of the line of the poem, then you need to please pay attention to that figure of speech. Now, if you have a poem that has lots of imageries, please pay attention to the imageries and what it stands for. All right. In our subsequent classes, I am going to be analyzing some of 2023 poems. Since we're already rounding up with 2023 syllabus and 2024 syllabus. So we have decided to introduce something new to this channel, and it is called shout out section. All right, in this session we are going to be shouting out, we're going to be giving shout out to some of our amazing students. So if you want your name or your picture to appear, kindly send me a mail. Okay, my email address will be in the description below. All right, so if you want me to give you a shout out, please send a mail to me. All right, and I will sure give you a shout out in my next video. There are some poems that are very short. please try and learn them. Try and learn them. I know for this 2023 syllabus, I'm not even capping. Of course, I do not know everything about him, but I make bold to say that I know 90% of the poems, and I am not joking. I am not joking. Some of my students can actually bear me witness that I know most of this poem. So if I, as a teacher, can learn this poem by heart, all right, then you should too, because that is you moving from this to this. So, till we meet again in our next video, stay blessed and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Invite your friends, share this video if you find it helpful, give me a thumbs up, and please turn on the notification bell so that you will be notified whenever I drop another amazing video. Till I catch you next time. Bye.